When it comes to catching the bad guys, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, leaves no stone unturned. Back in 2007, the DHS was reportedly developing a flashlight that makes people puke. It is designed in a manner that when the flashlight is flickered on, it does two things. 1. It blinds the culprit with its array of bright white light. Second, it causes an intriguing phenomenon to occur, called the psychophysical effect. It results to a range of disorientations from vertigo to nausea for a few minutes. The device is part of a larger effort to
These service personnel playing the role of an unruly mob at Georgia's Moody Air Force Base are about to fall prey to an invisible ray. The hulking panel atop this Humvee is part of what the U.S. military calls the Active Denial System, or ADS. It's designed to incapacitate enemy combatants with an unnerving, non-lethal sensation of intense heat. Watch as the ray silently strikes and scatters the crowd.
The Active Denial System has three great characteristics. First of all, it's safe. Second, it's effective.
This may sound like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's already being used. This weapon is designed to inject blasts of sound directly into a person's head from a couple of 100 yards away. Microwaves enter the head directly through the skull, not the ear, so protective earplugs are useless. The inner ear will sense the microwave and recognize it as sound, and the microwave's blast can be adjusted to create different kinds of sounds. Versions being developed include bulk microwave emitting systems for the Army and small rifle-style versions for the Marines and Special Operation Forces. Some early versions have been field-tested in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's also envisioned that police could use versions of the gun for crowd control, sound bullets instead.
Microwave antennas on the main power pole, they're put there because the microwaves go out and they get in the lines, and let's see if you can, it's really hard to see. They get in the lines and travel down the lines and into your homes. Now, the Department of Transportation in India 4 years ago did a study on this. The closer you live to a power line, the higher your rate of neurological diseases and cancer. But in this case, the United States has gone too far. Those cell towers pump frequencies into the power lines. So when you turn on your toaster, this was part of COINTELPRO Pro, U.S. Senator Frank Church's 500-page report with hundreds of other documents associated with it. We've now reached a point where the microwaves, the radar ranges, the things that cook your food are pumped down the electrical lines into your home. So when you turn on a toaster, when your refrigerator runs, when your washer and dryer runs, it's also bringing these microwaves into your brain.
Think invisibility is magic, but scientists think otherwise. For the past few years, scientists are working on what they call an ultra-thin invisibility skin cloak for visible light. To a degree, they have been able to make a tiny object invisible or at least hard to see using the 80 nanometers thick invisibility cloak. The cloak is covered with nano antennas made of tiny gold blocks of different sizes that helps counteract distortion on a surface. It's a matter of clever manipulation of our perception. Light plays a key role in our perception. When light falls on something, it bounces off in a manner creating distortions that allows us to see the angles and curves of an object. So by manipulation, when it is made to seem that the light is coming from a flat surface, then invisibility becomes reality. Although a full invisibility seems beyond our reach today, but sometime in the distant future, invisibility cloak will no longer remain a figment of our imagination.
Robert, first question. What does LRAD stand for?
Long Range Acoustic Device.
Robert Putnam with LRAD Corporation gives the lowdown on this piece of popular yet contentious technology.
With the Long Range Acoustic Device systems, we're able to project voice messages and alarm tones up to distances over to 2 miles. It stays focused in a 30 to 60 degree beam, and by allowing us to do that, the people at the other end absolutely understand the instructions that are being given them, and we can give them the instructions in any language. We have a highly intelligible, very robust product now that's being sold throughout the world to militaries, commercial security, maritime security, and then also for wildlife protection and control. And for law enforcement, they appreciate having a device that really works for communication.
Pause. When we think of laser weapons, we think of science fiction and the worlds of Star Wars and Star Trek. The Laser Weapon System, or LAWS, is the most recent development of a battlefield laser system which shows the world of sci-fi becoming more of a reality. Unlike most laser systems, which are meant to blind or disable sensors, this American weapons system can destroy objects like drones and disable small boats at a range of around 1 mile. One is currently in service with more powerful systems expected soon. The electromagnetic gun. Also known as a railgun, the electromagnetic gun fires projectiles using magnetic force instead of propellant. Until recently, this technology had been experimental and too bulky for practical use. New systems are small enough to be mounted on ships and can fire a projectile up to 7 times the speed of sound. The United States Navy is preparing to install these weapons, which can fire a 10 kg projectile accurately at a range of around 100 miles. There is also talk of work being done to create guidable rounds for the electromagnetic gun, improving its accuracy even further. Adaptive cloaking. This military technology seems like something out of the movie Predator. Adaptive is technology developed by Sweden's BAE Systems, which can make tanks invisible to thermal imaging devices. A tank covered in adaptive plates can mimic the environment around it, making the tank blend in with its surroundings. More impressive, various parts of the camouflage can be heated and cooled quickly to make the tank look like another vehicle on an enemy's thermal imaging equipment. 1 minute it's a tank, and the next it's a 4-door family station wagon. The Phaser Rifle. Developed for the US military, the Phaser rifle definitely looks like something out of a video game or a sci-fi film. While appearing to be some form of alien assault rifle, the Phaser is in fact a man-portable laser weapon. Blinding laser systems have been banned under international law, so how does this Phaser get around this? It's not able to destroy tanks or kill enemy soldiers, but the Phaser can temporarily blind, disorient, and confuse enemy soldiers on the battlefield. Because the blinding is only temporary, it is legal to use under current rules of warfare. Laser-guided bullets. Most of us have heard of laser-guided bombs, weapons capable of destroying targets with a high degree of accuracy. Thanks to ever-improving technology, there is now the laser-guided bullet. Under testing by the US military, the .50 caliber sniper bullet can be guided onto its target far away with a high degree of accuracy. All the shooter needs to do is keep the laser on the target and the bullet does the rest. Test footage shows the bullet shot deliberately off target, change direction mid-air, and then strike its intended target. The Active Denial System. Sci-fi fans would probably be more comfortable calling this weapon a heat ray device. The Active Denial System is effectively a weaponized microwave oven. When directed at a person or group of people, the ADS's high-powered beam causes an unpleasant amount of heat which causes the victims to run away. Unlike a microwave oven, the wavelength used only penetrates the very upper level of skin, meaning targets don't get cooked all the way through. Tests have shown that there are no long-term side effects, and only a few cases of second-degree burns have been reported from volunteer targets. The Hypersonic Strike Missile. Since the Second World War, militaries around the world have worked to create missiles that fly farther and faster with greater accuracy and destructive force. Today, the next big high-tech breakthrough is in the area of hypersonic missiles. Like a cruise missile, hypersonic missiles are meant to fly a great distance and strike a target with a high degree of accuracy. Unlike cruise missiles, which generally fly up to 600 miles per hour, these new missiles, such as the American X-51A Wave Rider, are meant to have sustained speeds in excess of Mach 5, or 1,700 meters per second. The LS-3. Roughly the shape and size of a small horse or calf, The LS-3 is a four-legged robot designed by the U.S. military. This oversized robotic dog can carry 400 pounds of gear and traverse nearly any type of terrain in any weather. Additionally, the LS-3 requires no operator and can move and navigate on its own thanks to cameras and a computer that accesses the surrounding environment. Carrying heavy gear and staying close to its assisted soldiers, this robot is capable of operating for up to 20 miles or 24 hours before requiring refueling. Swarm. You've likely heard of drones which are used to observe and attack individual targets. What about a swarm of drones that can operate in packs and work together on the battlefield? Sounding like something out of the Call of Duty video game series, the US military is developing a system by which drones can operate in packs. Known as Locust, the swarm of small drones communicate with one another and can cooperate during coordinated attacks against enemy targets. Officials stress that a human operator will always be on station to take over if necessary. But this kind of sounds like the plotting of a sci-fi movie many of us have seen many times before. Atlas. Atlas proves that we are not very far from creating our very own Terminators. Improving upon decades of robot development, Atlas is a very advanced humanoid robot that walks bipedally and uses its arms to lift and manipulate objects. The 6-foot, 330-pound robot can operate autonomously thanks to sensors, cameras, and lasers which map out its surroundings. Atlas has no problem climbing stairs, maintaining its balance, and traversing uneven terrain. Although the military says it has no plans for the robot, its demonstration at the U.S. Defense Robotics Challenge suggests Atlas has some role to play in the military.
Clinton operatives blasted reporters camped across the street from an outdoor fundraiser in Colorado Friday night with an LRAD long-range acoustical device broadcasting white noise or static noise so that reporters couldn't hear what she was telling the donors. She took to the microphone for the outdoor fundraising event, and as soon as she picked it up, the reporters camped out across the street started tweeting that they couldn't hear her and that they turned on a, quote, static noise machine and pointed it at them when she spoke. They also reported that as soon as her speech was done, the static noise, the white noise, immediately stopped. The LRAD, the long-range acoustical device, is a sort of sound cannon that's often used at protests to pierce the ears of protesters with a damaging level of decibels in order to get crowds to disperse. And so now the Hillary Clinton campaign has used this type of device and then toned it down a little bit and broadcast white noise so that people couldn't hear the inside scoop about what she was telling the donors at the outdoor event. Yes, Stan Bush, who was in attendance, camped out across the street, says they don't want reporters to hear the fundraiser speech, turned on a static noise machine and pointed at us when she spoke. This coming from the most transparent